Everyone called him a pervert for playing games without armor, but they didn't know he spent all his equipment money on weapons instead. Why was he so confident? Because his reflexes surpassed normal human limits, no matter how fast the enemy attacked. To him, it looked like slow motion. Jack had already beaten thousands of so-called trash games. Sure, they were poorly made, but their difficulty was often even higher than acclaimed titles. This time, he was starting a game widely regarded as a masterpiece. At the character creation screen, he noticed you could sell starting gear. Sticking to his usual style, he sold every piece of armor, but since this game had a larger player base, to avoid awkwardness, he equipped a head covering. That's how he ended up looking unusual. As soon as he logged in, he felt the difference. The movement felt almost like real life, and the freedom was incredible. Climbing, grabbing, almost anything was possible. When he opened the map, he realized something was wrong. He hadn't started in the beginner's village. What he didn't know was, this happened because he'd chosen the drifter origin. But Jack didn't overthink it. He decided to head toward the starter town. While exploring along the way, he opened his status screen. As expected, his defense was only 3. A single hit would take him down. Just then, a goblin appeared behind him. Though caught off guard, Jack's reflexes kicked in instantly. He was surprised to encounter a monster so soon, but he decided to test the game's combat mechanics. The fight began. The goblin charged, but Jack stayed calm. At the last moment, he sidestepped and struck it down with one clean hit. Since it was a low-level enemy, it died instantly. Jack reached level 2. He checked the goblin's drops, hoping to find a second weapon, but the durability was already half gone. Then, a rustling came from the bushes. Jack knew another monster was hiding there. He didn't know its attack patterns, and that was the exciting part. As he waited for it to strike first, he dodged smoothly, but he never expected its attack to be so powerful. One hit would mean game over. Instead of fear, he felt challenged. He parried at the last possible moment, then aimed for its weak point and struck hard. A critical hit landed. He had total control of the fight. Attack and defense perfectly timed. But the monster wasn't finished yet. One critical hit wasn't enough, so he repeated the process, parried again, then slashed its throat.
こんなもんかよ、神ゲーム。しつこく首ばっか狙ってきやがって。さすがに見切れるぞ。
Jack reached level 4. That monster was clearly no ordinary foe. But this time, no weapon drop. He really wanted that creature's cleaver. Just then, the system panel lit up. He had unlocked new skills, parry and counter. This was a game where skill mattered most. Player ability could overcome level gaps, and challenging stronger enemies was possible. Jack was eager to experiment with different combat style. Before he knew it, he had reached level 12. He hadn't even assigned his stat points yet. After putting most points into luck, he equipped 2 new cleavers. It had taken forever to get them. He had to defeat 50 of a rare rabbit monster to collect both, but the stats were worth it. Bonus critical damage. He also learned several new skills, though most weren't very useful. By now, he was far from the starter village. While farming for gear, he'd gone off course. He was actually closer to the second town, so he headed that way. Soon, he reached a bridge, blocked by a giant serpent. This was clearly the gatekeeper to the second town. You had to defeat it to pass. According to the system, this was a boss designed for a party, recommended for 3 players level 10 or higher. Yet Jack, a complete newbie, shows no fear. His reflexes have long surpassed ordinary limits, but just as he finds an opening to strike the boss, his starter weapon shatters. Clearly, the boss's defense is ridiculously high. The developers never expected anyone this bold. Because of this mishap, Jack gets drenched in venom. He still has a backup weapon dropped by earlier monsters.